We have some major breaking news as it looks like O'Reilly Auto Parts will become the entitlement sponsor for the Xfinity Series starting in 2026. What's going on, guys? This is Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news this early afternoon as it looks like O'Reilly Auto Parts will become the entitlement sponsor for the secondary series, also known as the NASCAR Xfinity Series, in 2026. Here was reported by a couple reporters. First reported by Adam Stern. O'Reilly Auto Parts is in the pole position to replace Xfinity as title sponsor of the NASCAR Xfinity Series starting next year, with per people familiar with the matter. And then also was reported a second ago by Jordan Bianchi as well, that according to what he has reported as well, O'Reilly Auto Parts is a likely new entitlement sponsor for the Xfinity Series, sources told The Athletic. The multi-year deal is likely to be announced next week, Xfinity to remain a premier partner, Adam Stern first to report. This is a really big deal. We've been kind of wondering what the new entitlement sponsor was going to be for the secondary series going into 2026, because Xfinity will no longer be the premier sponsor after being the premier sponsor since 2015 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They'll be backing out of their deal going into 2026, and we've been wondering what that entitlement sponsor was going to be for the 2026 season. O'Reilly Auto Parts is very interesting because O'Reilly Auto Parts, of course, has sponsored some races in recent years. They sponsored Texas many years ago, back in the 2000s, and they've also sponsored drivers in NASCAR Xfinity, Cup, and truck competition as well. And we've been seeing a lot of the O'Reilly Auto Parts commercials. They're always on the Xfinity Series commercials you see, and they're also part of the Cup Series coverage as well. And O'Reilly Auto Parts is a growing brand and has one of the biggest auto parts shops across the country as well. It's going to be very interesting to not hear as fast as Xfinity Internet. I wonder what the title and how the catch of the title will be for the Xfinity Series going to next year. So what is it going to be? Probably it's going to be called like the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, or maybe the NOAPS is what they might call it at this point. But I definitely would have loved to see Busch Beer become the sponsor of the secondary series. We saw Craftsman come back and be the entitlement sponsor for the third series, for the truck series, after being away after 2008. They switched it over to Camping World starting in 2009. I would love to see Busch Beer come back and be the entitlement sponsor for the secondary series. I think it's interesting that O'Reilly Auto Parts is going to be that. I wonder what the tag sponsor is going to be for it. But I think it makes sense to kind of make a move like this. O'Reilly Auto Parts, again, is a massive brand, and it's a massive, massive company, and it's going to bring a lot to the table as well. The other big question I have, as Jordan Bianchi mentioned, it is a multi-year deal, right? So my big question I have to ask myself is, how long is this deal going to be? The Xfinity deal lasted from 2015 to 2025. Will this deal only go through the rest of the media deal? Remember, the media deal for the CW especially is only right now through 2031. So will they only be on through 2031? That's a big question because, of course, Nationwide took over in 2008 after Busch Beer came in. They had a 6 or 7 year deal up until the end of the TV deal in 2014. And then Xfinity came in 2015 for 10 years. I would not expect, more than likely, that O'Reilly Auto Parts will be entitlement sponsor for like 10 or 15 years at this point, but I think they need to bring a premier partner in. And I think people are going to be asking, is Xfinity going to be staying on? 100%. Xfinity is going to be staying on, but just as a premier sponsor for the NASCAR Cup Series at this point. But there will be a lot of money O'Reilly Auto Parts will be able to provide, because O'Reilly Auto Parts has a ton of money, and they'll probably sponsor some drivers throughout the year as well. And I would have to think they'll probably have some sort of things they'll be doing, some sort of sweepstakes, for instance, they're going to be getting involved with as well. I think that is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out at this point. And I think it'd be very interesting to call, instead of the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year, which has been kind of a catchphrase and a tagline where they've gone as fast as Xfinity Internet for the last couple of years, it's going to be very interesting to see O'Reilly Auto Parts come in and be the entitlement sponsor for the secondary series. And I'm very interested in what the banner is going to look like. My guess is it's probably going to be some sort of red and some sort of green banner. That's my best guess at this point, is what's going to look like at this point. And I got to say, it's definitely a very interesting thing we're going to see, and you're probably going to hear that O'Reilly's tune come up going into next year as well. And I guess so, maybe one thing I'd love to see, and I've seen some people mention this as well, maybe they'll call like the O'Reilly Grand National Series. I saw Tommy John Martins mention that a couple weeks ago, actually earlier today as a matter of fact. He kind of mentioned that. I think it'd be really cool if Grand National came in and was part of the name, because for many, many years it was called the Busch Grand National Series. I think it'd be really cool if you could have Grand National part of the name for the entitlement sponsorship as well. I think that'd be fantastic and really, really good to see. But it's going to be interesting to see a new name for the secondary series going into next year. Again, we'll probably have some new names in the Xfinity series next year, some drivers coming in. There's a lot of talk of Corey Day going full-time next year. There's talk of Daniel Suarez maybe going back down to Xfinity competition. Many people think that he'll be going to Junior Motorsports next year, and there'll be some changes at the driver lineup going into next year, and it's going to be very interesting to see what that tagline is going to be and what they're going to do for it. But a big deal nonetheless to see that going away. Again, I would have rather seen Busch Beer come in and be the entitlement sponsor for the secondary series. But with how much O'Reilly Auto Parts has been invested in the sport in recent years, it does make some sense that it might likely be coming in. It's still going to be huge for the series nonetheless, that it will likely become that secondary series entitlement sponsor, because I don't really know outside of Busch Beer what you could have done. You could have had maybe Budweiser come in, but that's like the same thing with Busch, for example. Some are going to mention other things like Coca-Cola. It'd been cool to maybe see Coca-Cola have an entitlement sponsor for the secondary series, but it does make some sense a little bit, but I didn't think it'd be O'Reilly Auto Parts. Again, I would have thought it would have been something like Busch Beer, for example, because to me, when I think of the secondary series, Busch Beer makes the most sense to me. So we'll see what happens at this point with that, but this is still a really big deal nonetheless, and announcements probably coming later next week. There's a lot of stuff probably on the table. We should be also getting the 2026 NASCAR schedule at some point next week as well. Probably talk about Chicago and Mexico City going away and all that kind of stuff being added to the schedule. But nonetheless, I think this is still a really big deal. Nonetheless, that the Xfinity series will be going away with the name going into next year. We've been expecting that at this point. We're still waiting for the field provider at this point for next year as well. Nonetheless, a really big deal that O'Reilly Auto Parts is expected to become the secondary series entitlement sponsor. We'll see what the official name will be. Again, I would not be surprised if some big things like Grand National comes into play. We'll see what happens, and we'll see what comes out for the secondary series going into 2026. We'll be waiting for that to be announced here in the coming days and coming weeks as well. So, that is going to be today's special breaking news report on O'Reilly Auto Parts being expected to become the entitlement sponsor for the Xfinity series starting in 2026. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on so if I win a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go jump over that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts about O'Reilly Auto Parts likely becoming the entitlement sponsor for the secondary series? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And what do you think the name is actually going to be for the secondary series? Let me know it in the comments below. Later tonight on the channel, of course, we are going to have a NASCAR. We're going to have the Cup Series race review from Richmond as well. Then, of course, on Sunday, we're going to have the 2026 NASCAR Cup silly season predictions. Probably the last one we're going to do until the end of the year, more than likely. Then on Monday, we will have a NASCAR news video dropping on the channel. Talk about this news, talk about calling and trackouts and the changes in manufacturers with Honda, Dodge, and Ram. We're also, of course, on Tuesday going to be doing the 2026 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoff predictions. And we also should be having the schedule coming out potentially Tuesday. So wait on that as well. We got some other content dropping this week. We got content coming on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Gisberg, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bo Wallace, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Frankie Muniz, Cletus Afron, Dodge Ram, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Ryan Priest, Bubba Wallace, all the good stuff. The IROC race is happening as well with Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Dale Jr., all the good stuff. We'll talk about it on the channel in the coming days and coming weeks as well, along with Brock Feeney, Cam Waters, and Will Brown, all the good stuff as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.